Happy Monday afternoon, everybody. And all the green in the screen is really putting a pep in my step. I could have sworn on Friday when we sold off just harshly that we were going to have a pretty tough week. And boy, was I wrong. Stocks really flew up. Bunch of them flew up. And we've got Palantir announcing earnings today, and it should be really interesting. Palantir, I looked at it 5 minutes ago, 4% in intraday trading. I'm sure it's going to end somewhere there. They're going to announce about 5 after. And I think at 1 after, Mercado Libre, which is another interesting company, they're an e-commerce company operating down in Latin America, is going to announce. So we can keep ourselves busy for 3-4 minutes until Palantir announces. Until then, I am joined by Daryl, who does all the technical analysis, does a great job at it. How you doing, Daryl?
Doing very well, Victor. Thank you. Good to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you. And we've got, man, the number of attendees just keeps going up. It's always fun to do these because we're up to 72 and just climbing. Kareem Biggins, what's up, buddy? Good to see you.
Good to see you, Cream.
All right, so let me try to figure out where they're going to put out their financial results. Mercado Libre has been a good growth stock. They grow like at 22, 24% top line revenue. They have good margins, and I think they have a unique proposition in the market. They really focus on Latin America. And of course, Amazon's huge. Amazon dominates the US, and I think Amazon does really well in other countries as well. I know they're down in Latin America as well. But I think Mercado Libre is probably going to do a little better than Amazon since they have the cultural advantage, that advantage they have. So I'm betting that they're going to keep growing and they're going to do well. They also do fintech and a couple other things. So let's see if I can get. Man, I don't know what's going on here. Well, hopefully. And let me know if you see Mercado Libre drop.
I am. I'm got the
Oh, man, it's pretty
earnings
red.
news. Ooh,
They dropped and
wow.
stock's down 8%. So investors did not like, at least the ones that read the report quickly, did not like what they saw. Oh man. So leading up to this, the stock was kind of plateauing and selling off to some extent. I was noticing that the 30-day stock was selling off by like 4%. So it's interesting that the market kind of had this one right because now it's down 9% in after hours. Oh man, it is not a good situation for Mercado Libre temporarily. I can't wait to look at their financials, look at truly what they did, and then process it. We have plenty of time on the stream, so we'll do this one after Palantir, but we can dig into the financials and see what really happened. But looking at, do you have the technicals ready or
I
available
do.
on Excel?
I have the 1 year pulled up. We can take a look at it. Today they did close above a declining 20-day moving average, and the 50-day is declining as well. They're both rolled over.
Mm-hmm.
But it did manage to climb above the 20-day, but it has been trading under both of those averages since looks like July the 10th or so. And the PPO is negative. We did get a bullish crossover this morning in negative territory, but we had a bearish crossover around July the 7th or so. So the market was sniffing out something. The RSI has also been negative since about the beginning of July. So it hasn't got back into positive territory above 50. However, the accumulation distribution line looks pretty good, although it had peaked out right at the end of June and had been decreasing a little bit. So the market seemed to be sniffing out something ahead of this earnings report.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, the stock's down. Well, geez, it's all over the place. It was down 9-10%. Now I'm seeing that it's down only 4%.
Yeah, let me look at the intraday here. Yeah, it was down to somewhere around 2250 or so at one point, and then it's jumped back up to 2300, 2305.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see their actual numbers. It looks like Carlos got a hold of some information, and Carlos is seeing a 13% miss on earnings. And I don't, profit's important, but top line revenue is really important to me. Cash flow is important to me, and balance sheet's really important to me. So, Palantir is up big.
Yep.
I think.
Yeah, they just reported.
All right. What are you seeing?
Let me pull that up. Yeah, well, they shot up and then came back down. But let's look at the 1 year chart. So they're actually trading. Nope, that's PRU. I want Palantir. I was going to say I didn't think they were trading below their 200-day. Yeah, they're trading a long way above their 200-day, above the 50-day, and it looks like the 20-day. Let me put the zoom on here. Yeah, so they closed above a rising 20 today. No, excuse me. Yeah, they never did get below their 20. Okay. This is the 5-day moving average. They closed below that Friday, and they're back above it today, and that 5-day has curved back around. PPO has been in positive territory since almost the tariff announcements. It has been declining over time while the stock is going up. That's a negative divergence and always something to watch.
Mm-hmm.
The RSI was overbought slightly in early May and has never gotten back to overbought, and it has been in positive territory ever since that point. Currently at 66.21, and the accumulation is just pretty much straight up and to the right, although it does look like it's flattened out a little bit here since about mid-May.
Awesome. So let me go over their earnings. So impressive. They grew 48% top line revenue year over year. That is really impressive. They are small compared to like Microsoft or a big software company, but that is impressive. Cash from operations, 539 million. So it's a 54% margin. So adjusted free cash flow, 568, and this is in the second quarter. It's very, very good. So now if you look at, they're on a run rate of being a $4 billion revenue company as of now, but at 40% growth, that means that, geez, they're going to double and be an $8 or $10 billion company very quickly. So that looks impressive, really impressive. They raised their guidance. So we are raising our revenue guidance between 4.142, 4.15 for the full year 2025. I think they're going to beat that. This is their second quarter. Yeah, they should be able to beat that. So they're probably leaving some room to beat and raise again. All right. So here's where we're seeing just a dynamic growth, right? For the 3 months, just from 678 million up to over a billion. For the 6 months, they're knocking on the door of 2 billion, but the run rate would be at 4 billion per year. So they got a load of cash and marketable securities, about $6 billion. Okay, good balance sheet, really good balance sheet. And here's where the cash flow is just exploding. Last year they did 273 million of cash from operations, now 849, and they put very little capital into the business. So this isn't like a business that needs like 100 or 1,000 GPUs, each month. Like Google spending a lot, Meta spending a lot. These guys don't have to spend a lot of capital. That's a big advantage. At this rate, they had for the first 6 months about 835 million of free cash flow for the first 6 months, and they're growing at 48%. So I'm going to change my forecast a little bit because that is phenomenal. Okay, so I had the free cash at 1.7 billion. Man, that's a pretty good number. So 835. Yeah, I'm gonna have to think about it. Yeah, the numbers look great, but the thing you can't get around on Palantir is just such an expensive stock, right? You have a company that has $3.12 billion of revenue, and this is trailing 12 months, I think, as of Q1. So you're paying more like 125 times revenue. That's really expensive.
Yeah.
125 times revenue. And then PE 664. Oh man, that is so high. Analysts are like, it's too expensive. And but the stock doesn't care. The stock just keeps going up. So incredible performance. Fundamentals look good, but the price is just so darn high. It's really hard to get my head around it. 18 analysts put themselves out there and put price targets. There's an analyst at $21 a share. Man,
Wow.
he's not going to be invited to any Palantir parties for sure. And then we have an analyst that's at 178, and he's looking pretty smart right now. And the average is consensus $100 price target. The revenue is growing faster than this forecast here. It's at 48%. And they're saying that for the next quarter, they're going to grow just as fast. So these numbers need to be moved up. See, they'll be a $10 billion company within 3 years. Yeah, within 3 years, they'll be a $10 billion company. And they'll probably be producing 3 billion in cash flow, free cash flow, 4 billion. So this thing's going to take off. It's already taken off. So so that's Palantir high-level fundamentals. Let me pass the baton over to you and see if you can show us the charts. And while you do that, I'll update my valuation.
One of the things that I was looking at when you were
want to share
talking,
can you share your screen?
I don't know if I can or not.
Mm.
No, I have it shared. You just need to share me.
There we go.
There we go.
Okay.
One of the interesting things here, Palantir is not my bag of tea. It's not something that I normally invest in this particular time in my life. I did play around with some trades earlier in the year and did okay with them. But when I see a breakout like this horizontal line all the way across here, you can see that it reached what we'd call resistance. And then we had the tariff announcements and the sell-off in March that a lot of the technical companies went through in March, and then the tariff announcements in April. And then it came back up to that level. We had a consolidation for looks like almost 2 weeks. It broke above that level. And what I typically look at when I'm looking at these breakouts like this, although I would not be afraid to buy it here and just keep a tight stop loss on it, when it comes up and then comes back and touches that line and then takes off again, I'd be all in at that point. That's really when I would be aggressive. If this were something that I was interested in, Palantir, this would be a great time to get in. Because once it comes back and tests that level and bounces off support and then takes off like this, that is just a really great time to buy. I bought numerous stocks like that, and they have all done fairly well. NVIDIA being one, back in 2023, did this same exact thing. Trying to think of a couple other ones I can't think of right off the top of my head, but I have several like that. So anyway, that was a beautiful breakout.
Okay. So we have 452 people on the stream. Thanks everybody for joining us. We are in the middle of Palantir, trying to figure out how to believe these unbelievable numbers, but they are real, I'm sure. I'm updating my valuation on the stock fundamentally, and Daryl is going through the charts. And I want to make sure I heard it correctly. You feel that it's set up well if somebody was interested in Palantir to potentially start a position at this point?
It is starting to level out again, but it's jumping up again after hours. I would not be afraid to enter in here, even though fundamentals do not support it. I bought, I don't know how many companies at all-time highs. When I see patterns like this, I am not afraid to buy at all-time highs. So I don't think this is a horrible position. I wouldn't buy it and just forget about it. I would buy it with a stop loss so you can get out if it goes against you quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And I can show you how I do that. Let me go to my portfolio, and I'll just, Credo was one that I bought. So I use chandelier exits. That's what I use to help set my stop losses. So whenever I bought this, I can't remember exactly when I bought it. I was in at like $48 a share. But if you look at this, in fact, let me take these chandeliers. I'll take my bottom two off. I will make that very bold. And then I will set the opacity of these all the way down so you can watch that chandelier exit. And then I'll just delete these. Okay, so now I can update the chart. So I was in at 48, so I bought somewhere right in here. And notice that my stop loss was somewhere around 38 or so. So the maximum I would have lost would have been $10 a share. So anyway, as this price started going up, look how the chandelier exit was going up as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew as long as that chandelier exit, even though it came down and touched it right here, I knew not to sell. It jumped up. And by the way, this company is not one that I would typically buy as well. This was for fun because I don't normally buy non-dividend paying stocks
Right.
in this time of my life. This
Hmm.
was a fun one. So
Well,
anyway, it kept going up. It started coming back down, but it never touched my chandelier exit.
you know who's been in Palantir for a long time is Shadow Guy,
Okay.
and man, he nailed this one. And
Yeah, he's
congratulations,
on the call.
Shadow Guy.
So anyway, that's what I do is I just let this thing track and I won't typically sell out of it until it breaks down below my chandelier exit. Now,
All
this
right.
one I did because it's a company that doesn't fit into my investing style, but it was fun to trade it for 2 or 3 months.
But it's kind of like when you go to one of these big cities like New York, it's fun to be there for maybe days, but I can't afford. Geez, man, I can't spend $600-700 a night on hotels very long, and everything's expensive. So Palantir fundamentally, I can't get to their stock price.
Nope.
I got their fundamentals. I'm using their first 6 months that they reported, right? And I doubled that, and I'm saying I'm going to grow free cash flows by 45% in the initial year. This number is going to grow by 45%, grow it by 45%. Assumes they get to about 10 billion in revenue at this point, and then grow it by 45%. And then terminal value grow it by 5%, which is a very high growth rate. It gets me at an 8% discount rate. It gets me $150 billion of intrinsic value, well below its market cap. So just can't build a valuation that's rational to get to this stock price. I can't get there through earnings per share either. I'm going to a 48 PE. I'm not going to go any higher. It's like one of the things we have to just remind ourselves is as Palantir gets bigger, big competitors are going to really pay attention to them.
Yep.
Google's going to say, "Wait a second, you
Mhm.
guys are coming into our space." Microsoft's going to be like, "Hey, what are you guys doing? We have this. What's Microsoft's product is Microsoft Power BI, right? And they do a lot of stuff with Power BI and partners that develop on Power BI. And Google, theirs is called BigQuery. And so we'll see. We'll see as they get bigger. Are they going to see more attention from their competitors? I just tip my hat to the performance they had, and I'll continue to step to the sidelines, and say I'm going to watch this ball game. It is interesting. I just can't get on the field because I'm afraid I just can't buy, and I don't want to short it because the thing keeps climbing, and I don't think I'm going to short many stocks in my future. So congratulations to all Palantir stockholders. The earnings announcement's really good. Looking at where the stock is trading, it's up about 4%, and after it was up 4% in intraday trading, so it's doing great. It's doing really, really well. Let me change this guy up to Palantir, and I've got MercadoLibre financials ready to go after this. So this stock over the 1 month up 15%, year to date up 112%, 567. I think the Easter Bunny, Santa Claus, everything, all those guys own this stock. In the 5 year, look at this. So from here to here, 857%. Congratulations, Palantir stockholders. You guys are killing it. Incredible rise. So Palantir, good earnings, and they are off and running. So we're going to switch gears and go over Mercado Libre, and then we're going to go over HIMS. Carlos on the chat said that HIMS is dropping. That'll be interesting to take a look at. I'm monitoring the chat. Looks like Shadow Guy's in the chat. Congratulations, Shadow Guy. Carlos, good to see you. Cream Biggins. And that's who's in the chat right now. Thanks for joining us, guys. We've got 466 people on the stream. Appreciate you guys attending. We are in the middle of looking. We just looked at Palantir, incredible earnings. Stock is up. I showed my fundamental assessment, and Daryl showed the technical analysis. We're going to go through that for Mercado Libre now. And the stock, let's just take a glance here, went down as much as 10%. Now it's 4%. And when I thought I was going to glance at this and see that revenue had really dropped, but net revenues and financial income of 5.9 billion, up 37%. That's good. So from memory, that's what they were growing. So that's not a miss. That's like good. They keep going on the right track. Margins, we'll examine that later. So they also do payments, right? FinTech. And their payment volumes were up 43%. That okay. So, and which quarter are we dealing with? What do they call this quarter? Oh, this is the wrong earnings. Sorry. On the wrong earnings report. Sorry. This is Q1. So here's the call, but where's their earnings? So quarterly, Q1. Nope. Well, maybe we can move to him, and then we'll come back to this one. Hopefully it'll be updated by then. Or you know what? Let's go to one OK. I think this is one you own. It's up a little bit. This is a midstream service provider, gathering, processing, fractionation, transportation, storage, marine export services for natural gas liquids, natural gas pipelines, refined products, and crude. So they're a midstream player in energy.
I am in this one as an adjacent AI play. As long as it works out. If it
So
doesn't
tell
work
me,
out, I'll get out of it. But
adjacent AI play, and why is it an adjacent AI play?
there are a lot of data centers that are looking to build next to pipelines, and one OK owns a lot of pipelines carrying natural gas. And their
So
reasoning is they can pull right off those pipelines to power these data centers. So it's called behind the meter data center.
got it. Chevron talked about how they want to get into the energy production business because they have so much natural gas. They want to do something with it. Okay.
They beat by a penny, and the stock price is exactly the same after hours. So pretty boring. We'll see. This is one I'm in for that AI play.
Yeah, it looks interesting.
Yeah, we'll talk about it from time to time.
Okay.
See how.
Did you want to show the charts or?
No, they're pretty boring. Nothing's really happening on them, so we don't need to look at them right now unless somebody is interested. Let me know in the chat.
So HIMS, 11%. What's the news on HIMS? Okay, August 4th. So revenue is up 73% year to date. Year over year, excuse me. Year over year. That's really good. Net income. Okay. Subscribers grew 31%. So why is the stock going down? So revenue's up nicely. Gross margin was 76%. That's very good. Cash flow was negative. Okay. So revenue is going to be for the third quarter. So the revenue, I guess, is slowing down because this quarter was at 544. Now that would be really good because last year was at 315. So I don't see a lot of bad news here. I see some pretty good news. I see some really incredible growth numbers. And I'm not quite sure why it's selling off. Okay, they have plenty of cash. They have a $1,124,000,000 of cash. They have some short-term investments. No debt. A couple leases. So they're growing year to date 65%. So cash flows. So they built up inventory. Expenses. All right, that's fine. And they spent a lot of money on CapEx. Wonder what for. That's what drove the cash flows into a negative position. Is they have a lot of inventory going into their warehouse and tying up money capital, and to CapEx really last year at this time it was 13.7 million. This year it's 101.3. That's a lot of CapEx. So are they planning to produce more of their own products? Is that why they're spending so much money in factories and stuff? Interesting. So these guys year to date are up 162%. Wow. Incredible. 1 year up 298, 200%. It's not a big cap stock. That's why it's moved so well. PE is a little high, and forward PE is a little high. Their growth is really, really fantastic. Revenues, it's not including the quarter they just closed, but just as an example. Free cash flow is looking great, but now it's gotten into a negative cash flow. But I could work around that. Put together a forecast I think they're going to hit. So interesting. This is a surprise that they're down. Is there some news like somebody's suing them? Don't know. I have a valuation on HIMS, but it doesn't have the most recent data, but I think it'll be better because it doesn't have negative cash flow in it. I think they're priced too high. If I look at their cash flow, they don't cash flow very well. And with a negative cash quarter, it's going to get even smaller. So that's not going to look good. Then their earnings per share, this is a quarter old, but I can't get to the stock price. So this is a high growth company. A lot of retail investors like Hims. It specializes in like hair loss, um, male enhancement drugs, the weight loss drugs, but they were using the opportunity where the weight loss drugs were scarce, so they were willing to mix the compounds and then sell them to customers. And they may be overusing that, and they may get sued by the two big weight loss companies. That could be a big issue because if those companies are successful, they could sue them for damages, which could be huge. Like, oh yeah, you cost us like $5 billion loss of sales. Okay, so that could be a big issue. Let me read some comments here. I'll pass the baton over to you, and I'll also read the comments while I do that. And you can take a look at the charts because little J, you want to look at CMG? All right, maybe. Revenue quarter over quarter is down 7%. Yeah, I didn't see that. First time Hims misses on quarterly revenue since its IPO. Yeah, maybe they missed a little bit, but man, the numbers look pretty good to me. They look really damn good. Earnings per share is also down. Okay. So investors were expecting better numbers. As I showed, I can't get to their stock price. I think the stock price is too high. So it was built on maybe some fundamentals that were not met, or built on some expectations that were not met. So take it away, Daryl. Show us the charts.
Well, they are trading above their 20-day and their 50-day, and the 20-day crossed above the 50-day, trading above 200-day. Looks like all of them are upward, moving upwards. They are in positive territory on the PPO. Let me get a box here. So they are positive, and they had a bullish crossover, which they're maintaining for the last 2 weeks. The RSI hasn't been overbought since the beginning of May. The accumulation had somewhat fallen off here the last 2 or 3 months. Looks like it's falling off again. And then one of the things that I see is it can't seem to get past this price right here. It's hit it 4 times and cannot get above that price. So that's usually a pretty hard resistance line. That's
So you're
that's
thinking
my
the
take.
setup is bearish for the stock?
Well, the PPO is bullish. The RSI is bullish. I can't get over this hitting this price 4 times and cannot break through. It just tells me that this is a really hard resistance line.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been since February. It's tried to get through, but just can't.
Mm-hmm.
And it is being distributed. So people are moving out more than they're moving into the stock. I don't know if we can move out maybe a couple years and see if there was some resistance lines that were broken. Clear back here. Well, I could take that all the way over to there actually. So any of these would have been good buys. I just can't. I wouldn't feel comfortable. This is for me personally. I could not. I could not step into this right now, knowing that there's so little reward left, and yet I do see some downward risk. I just couldn't. I could not personally step into it at this point.
Yeah, it's an expensive stock. Really done great in appreciation. So somebody
It
picked up
does
the
look,
stock a couple years ago. Boy, you're sitting on a really nice gain.
it does look better on the weekly chart. So now we're looking at weekly data. So it's been in on a weekly, it's been in positive territory for over a year. Let me go out 2 years. Yeah, it hasn't been in negative territory since the beginning of 2024. It's gotten underneath the midpoint of the RSI 6 weeks or so here and another 6 weeks here, and that's over a 2 year period. So that looks really good. And the accumulation here looks much better on the weekly view than it did the daily view. The daily view looks weaker. We still have the problem where you have some resistance here that it just doesn't seem to break through. But the weekly view does look a little stronger. Daily view looks a little weaker.
All right, so HIMS. Let me come back to my screen. So HIMS is selling off, sold off by 9.49% as I speak. And it did have a little bit of a rally today. It was a big green day today, and this one went up a little bit. 1 month, it's up 32%. Year to date, just doing great. Really sold off when we had the sell off in March, and it really rallied back. You could have picked up the stock for $25 a share, quickly doubled your money. Within a month, you would have doubled your money. All right, so this stock really moves. We'll see how it does. We will see. Move to the next stock, the Mercado Libre situation. It's kind of weird. I don't know if that's my computer, but I'm having a lot of trouble with their website. I'm trying to open up their earnings, but it just won't work for me. And the pages are not opening for me. So this one we're just gonna have to pass on, and I'll do it when I can get their financials and I can analyze it. One last thing I'll try is see if our friends over at Stock Analysis updated it. No, they haven't updated their data either. So won't be able to give you any opinion on Mercado Libre from a fundamental perspective, but I do like this stock because I like the story. I like the story of they focus on e-commerce down in Latin America, and that would enable them to really grow. I think Latin America's continues to have more and more organic growth of people buying online and buying more products online. And I think Mercado Libre is probably going to do best down there. And they have their fintech business. So they have, I think, a long runway of being able to grow. The valuation isn't completely out of hand. It's expensive, but they're a growth stock. They're growing really nice. And you see how they grew 37% in the quarter. I'm scratching my head thinking, what's wrong with 37% growth? That looks pretty darn good to me. And if they're growing that well, I could forgive them if they don't have tremendous margins. Their margins in Q1 were good, and their free cash flow is really good. So I'm curious to see what their cash flow is going to be. We'll take once I have their financials in hand. I guess their margins did come down a little bit, but so long as their gross margin is near 52% and they produce good cash flow, I'll be good with this stock, and it might give me an opportunity to buy more shares. I like the stock. I own Amazon, I own Alibaba, and I own Mercado Libre. I've got a pretty good portion of the earth covered for e-commerce, and the biggest position being Amazon. It's interesting that Amazon has been selling off quite a bit. I don't know if you noticed, Amazon sold off today. I bought more shares. And I think Amazon is a that it almost doesn't care, like it doesn't care how it dresses. It could go to like some really fancy restaurant with a dirty t-shirt and dirty pair of jeans and sneakers. It doesn't care because it's Amazon. They're like, we are obsessed with the customer. We're building a business that's going to be the most powerful business the world's ever seen in 5 years or in 10 years. They're just constantly building it and they pull it off. You look at what they've done with their logistics. Once depended on UPS, FedEx, and USPS to deliver product, right? Deliver the package to your front doors. Now they handle a lot of that logistics, not necessarily because of cost, but because they're to improve delivery times. So they have recreated their warehouse network. So especially densely populated areas of the US, they could deliver the product for sure within a day or 2 days, worst case. And in some cases, they could deliver the same day. And that type of obsession is creating more loyalty from their customers. It's making them bigger. That's their e-commerce business. Their cloud business is huge, very profitable. And I think people are doubting Amazon in the cloud because Microsoft's growing faster. I think it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity because the other thing they're not pricing the stock very well is they have a robo-taxi business, and they own a portion, I think, of Anthropic. They own one of the big AI companies. They own part of it, so they're pretty loaded. And I like the opportunity that Amazon presents, and I'm going to load up on the stock. Any thoughts on Amazon?
I'm building it as well. I think has a lot of potential in the future.
Yeah, I
Let
think
me take a look at the 1 year. Yeah, it's taken a hit here, but still above its 200-day moving average. And it tests that quite frequently. It tested it back in September of last year, broke through it here, tested it again here. So it's not uncommon for it to test that 200-day moving average. Those usually provide really good buying opportunities. So I'm
yeah.
picking more up as well.
Yep. I bought some more shares today, and we'll see how it plays out. It's probably going to take a while, but I have a feeling that this is going to be a 4, 5, 6 trillion dollar market cap stock. It's going to get there. It's just too big, too powerful. Great moats. Nobody can touch them in e-commerce in the US. The cloud business just continues to crank out cash. So Amazon's a good opportunity. And I feel like my portfolio now, I'm building like the most comfortable spots around my portfolio is like e-commerce has worked. Alibaba's worked. Mercado Libre has worked. What's really worked is communication services. Um, my biggest position is Meta. And I started buying into Reddit because Reddit's like Meta, right? They have social apps. Meta's done great, but Reddit's doing fantastic. Google is, not doing great last 9 months, 8 months. But that's been a really nice area. What are you showing us here?
I was going to look at the seasonality. I saw someone was talking about maybe we're at a peak. So let's run this back 10 years or so. And I'll pull it back. So August and September are typically the two weakest months of the year for the S&P 500. So it's usually down about, usually up about 0.1%, so hardly anything. And then September, on average, over 10 years, we've been down 2%.
Yeah.
So August and I know we've talked about the S&P. I know we've done it on other live streams. I think we were due for a pullback. Today was really a surprise. Based on this seasonality is one of the reasons I think we'll probably struggle a bit for the next 2 months. But then you look at the remainder of the year and we're usually up 5.4% in the last quarter.
Yeah. Yeah. The seasonality, I can't argue with seasonality this year, especially since from April 9th to, to the beginning of July. July was a good month, but it wasn't like record breaking. But May and June were record breaking. It was like, geez, man, the market just went up. Those months alone are going to give you a good return so long as the market doesn't like collapse. So the seasonality is really showing up this year.
Yeah. And then this is the one we talked about earlier in a different live stream. But this red and green line here is what they call an auto resistance line. And I have it set about where the peak was in February the 19th. So 61.44 or so on the S&P 500. So we broke above that. We had the big sell-off on Friday. Today we did not recover all of that, but looks like we recovered maybe 70% of that gap down, which is, that's a big day when you can do that in one day. I actually expected it to come down and test this line here again. And if it broke down through there, I have some volume, price by volume bars over here on the left-hand side, these gray and red bars. I highlighted one of them where most of the volume occurred at that price band. That price band runs from about 5,900 to 6,050. So if it broke down through this 50-day moving average and this resistance line, that would be my next level of support. I would expect support to happen there. And if we look from the peak to about the middle of that, that would have been about a 6.8% drawdown, which is pretty reasonable in any given year. So this wasn't scaring me too much. I'm watching this and see where things land. But these are two areas that I'm really watching, especially over August and September.
All right. So just from a pure, like if you're just showing this graph with no context, would you feel like, hey, the market's going to go up or down?
Right now, I think it's going to come down just because if I only look at this chart, so not taking into account seasonality, I would think it's struggling a little bit here. But what I would not be surprised to do, I didn't want that to happen, is we can just trade sideways. We've done that numerous times. Look at this from December all the way through almost February. So for 2 months, we traded sideways.
Right.
It can do that again. We can stay at these levels and trade sideways for 2 months. That would not surprise me. And then I really expect us to be moving higher towards the end of the year.
And that is seasonal.
Yep, exactly.
Yep.
So I would not be surprised for us to trade sideways here, to come down and actually test these two levels, and then rise back. But those are what I'm watching. I watch these nearly every week at least, and usually every day I'm watching these levels and see if they meet my expectations or whether they're starting to challenge my expectations and I need to do something different.
Okay. So looking at tomorrow, we've got AMD up to bat tomorrow after the market closes. Caterpillar before the market opens. HDFC Bank, I'm not familiar with them, before the market opens. Amgen, healthcare, like kind of biotech. Eaton, industrial, before the market opens. Arista, this one will be interesting. This one's kind of been trading sideways, and they're in cybersecurity, and there's been acquisitions in cybersecurity happening. So it'd be interesting to see what they have to announce. I know their stock's been under pressure. Pfizer, man, Pfizer let me down last earnings. We'll see if they can make it up this earnings. But I'm a stockholder in Pfizer. I'll be looking at that earnings. ICICI Bank, not familiar with them, before the market opens. Rio Tinto Materials, this company is out of England. We'll see how they announce. Duke Energy, that'll be interesting. See if they're taking advantage of the AI demand for power. Transdim Group, not there with them before the market opens. Just a lot of companies. Jeez. This like so many companies. This company does the pet meds, I believe, Zoetics.
Yep, exactly.
Coupang, they do e-commerce and stuff in Korea. So lots of Yum brands. So Taco Bell, KFC, Pizza Hut. Abs, all right. This has been a rocket ship ride. The stock that I own. Looking forward to that. So tomorrow we have a lot of earnings, and it just gets even more volume. Wednesday, 393 companies, and then Thursday, 454.
Wow. Man.
Oh, I tried to keep up last week, and boy, I analyzed a lot of companies, and it looks like it's going to be another one of those weeks, but it'll be worth it. All right, so good stream. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Looks like some new names. Little J, Chris, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. If you guys want to become members of the channel, that'd be great. You can visit the home page of my YouTube channel. There's 3 options. You look for the join button, and if you join the channel on live streams, your name comes up, and shown differently. And you can put tickers out there, and I'll analyze them and go into a deep dive. If you're not a member, it's a $5 super chat. So that's kind of to reward members and just to make it so that I'm not analyzing 100 stocks on a stream. Braden, good to see you. Thanks for the email, by the way. It was really nice of you to send me an email. And Little Jay, thanks for bringing it today, man. Good stuff. And Broccoli Hickets, you've been on my streams before. Arista and Cyber. Yeah, Arista Networks, I think they are. They do, but they started in networking and then became a cybersecurity company. And then Chris, thanks for bringing it today. And I think if he's still there, Carlos, good to see you today. And Shadow Guy, Cream Biggins. And let me let my co-host here kind of talk about his channel a little bit. You want to highlight anything on your channel, Daryl?
Sure, I can show it real quick. So I usually during earnings season put out for my portfolio holdings that I have, I put out a video highlighting those from both an earnings expectation, what their last earnings were compared to what the expectations are. And then I look at the charts for every single one of them So last week I had about 19 that I covered. And then today I put out one that covers the 11 that I have releasing this week. And then when I get time, I jump into a little more detail on one specific company. I don't always have time to do that. Depends on how many I have in a given week. But these are usually a little deeper dive, looking a little bit deeper into the fundamentals and a little deeper into the charts as well. So you're welcome to come join me anytime you wish.
And the YouTube channel is Investing Portfolio Pathway. Is that correct?
Yep.
Perfect. Yeah. Great work today, Daryl.
Thank you.
And look forward
Good-
to streaming
good
with
to
you
be here.
again.
Yep. Good to be here.
All right, guys. So thanks for showing up today. We had a big audience and we covered Palantir. Boy, they really impressed. The stock's still up. And we'll see how the stock trades tomorrow. And we analyzed a couple of others. I'll be streaming again for the rest of the week, probably tomorrow evening, and probably Wednesday morning, and then a couple evenings, and then we'll call it a week. So with that, everybody, good luck with your investments, and thanks for tuning in.
Thank you so much.